So welcome to A Course in Miracles, Workbook Lesson 193. Here's a phenomenal lesson and one that explains why shit happens. And shit happens to good people. Why? Because good people don't believe they deserve no shit. Workbook Lesson 193 says, all things, people, places, things, and events, all things are lessons God would have me learn. So I made the world. I, the dreaming mind, who localized as Lou, who localized as all of you, who localized as 8 billion of us on this planet, who localized as 9 septillion entities throughout the universe. Beady, beady, beep. There's some of them out there somewhere, wherever. All projections of one dreaming mind. And what did I project? Myself. And what did my projections appear like? What did myself appear as I projected myself into my dream? I projected things. The universe, galaxies, solar systems, suns, planets, creatures on a planet, people. The appearances of myself, and I go from energy back into form, energy back into form, energy. So my thoughts take shape and dissolve, take shape, dissolve. We call that reincarnation. When they dissolve, they go back into my dreaming mind. Call that the spirit world. When they project, they go back into the physical world. The appearance of my dreaming mind in form. It's all happening in my dreaming mind. Both spirit world and physical world are unreal activities of my dreaming mind. I made this because I forgot who I was. I forgot who I was because I wanted to imagine something that was never there. I wanted to imagine I could create greater than the light I am, forever creating as the love, joy, peace of that which I am. And what am I? The extension of my source, God. And so I dreamt up this nightmare of biblical distortions called the universe. I made things, people, events, activities, in order to keep myself entertained and prove to my true essence self, God, that I could create unlike itself and be happy. I failed miserably. 16 billion years later, and I'm still failing miserably. No matter what I create, make, I fuck it up properly. And my own characters are warring with each other. So parts of myself are at war with myself because all parts of myself want to be happy at the expense of every other part of myself because I'm asleep and I know not that I am. But somewhere in my dream, the call from within to be myself knowingly came. And when I answered that call, when a part of myself answered that call and awoke to itself, everything I made as the dreaming mind now became an opportunity for me to remember myself. Remember myself in what appears to be a lesson. And what is a lesson? It's the remembrance of what's true, of what's always been, and a letting go, a forgetting of what's unreal. So true learning is remembering truth and unlearning what is false. All things are lessons God would have me learn. And what would God have me learn in essence? To be myself knowing. He wants me to remember myself as the extension of his self eternally. God doesn't know of learning. There's no university in heaven, yet his will extends to what he does not understand, the activities of his dreaming mind, of his son's dreaming mind, in that he wills the happiness his son inherited of him, his self-same essence, be undisturbed, eternal, forever gaining scope, extending, eternally expanding in the joy of full creation, and eternally open and wholly limitless in him and God's self. That is God's will, that you stop dreaming of a universe of biblical distortions and start being the eternal light of extension, the eternal extension of the light we are, the eternal love of God we are. And thus God's will provides the means to guarantee that God's will is done. God sees no contradictions, yet his Son believes he sees them. Thus has his Son need for one who can correct his erring sight and give him vision that will lead him back to where perception ceases. And who's this one? We call that one the Holy Spirit. That Holy Spirit's really the memory of God in you. God doesn't perceive it all. We perceive. Yet it is God who gives the means by which perception is made true. So perception, erroneous projection, becomes corrective projection, becomes no projection, becomes full remembrance. Unconsciousness becomes consciousness, becomes bridge consciousness, becomes awareness. So it's God who gives the means, and that's the memory of God within us. And perception becomes true and beautiful enough to let the light of heaven, the essence of God's energy, shine upon it and dissolve the filters which prevent us from knowing we are the light. It is he who answers what his Son would contradict. He, the memory of God, the Holy Spirit, our true essence, and keeps his sinlessness forever safe. For how does it keep its sinlessness forever safe? It is that which is forever sinless. It's the very essence of God in all of us, in which we abide. So it's both within and without. It's omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. These are the lessons God would have you learn. His will reflects them all, and they reflect his loving kindness to the Son he loves. So even the stuff that appears brutal, the stuff that beats you the fuck up in this world, does so to show you you're following the path of most resistance. Return to least resistance. You're going in the wrong direction. That's why shit happens. Return to the silent stillness within, and God shows you the right path to take, the right-minded, Christ-minded path to take, not the path of the wrong-minded ego. Each lesson has a central thought, the same in all of them. The form alone has changed. Like to say, 8 billion people, the same story running throughout all of them, appearing differently, appearing as different themes, different characters. It's all the same. Unworthiness, fear, the idea of guilt, the idea of punishment, the fear of death, the fear of God, in some way or another. Each lesson is a central thought, the same in all of them. The form alone is changed with different circumstances and events, with different characters and different themes. Apparent, appearing real, but not real. They are the same in fundamental content. It is this. And this is the correction. Forgive and you will see this differently. You'll see it anew. You'll see it for what it is. You'll see the delusion, the illusion, and the reality all in one. And the delusion, illusion disappears and the reality remains. And you don't have to be spiritual to do that. You don't have to give up anything. You don't have to shave your head, wear an orange robe, sit in a lotus position, sing Kumbaya, hug people, appear to be happy, smile, put your hands together and seem spiritual, say things like namaste, tell everybody you love them, just be like a miserable git. Yeah. You just have to stop smoking, drinking coffee, you have to become a vegan, librarian, vegetarian, nutter. I can't imagine any words. It's just just be yourself. Just be yourself. Just as you are. You want to shag, marry, kill. You want to ride a motorcycle. You want to be a CEO. You want to be a life coach. Oh gosh, whatever you want to be, be. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go to retreats and hug a tree. Careful before you hug a tree in Africa. There's snakes and shit. Things that bite you. Just be yourself. Spiritual is just a concept. Throw it all away. Certain it is that all distress does not appear to be but unforgiveness. All appearances. Forgive and you see this differently. Certain it is that all the stress does not appear to be but unforgiveness. Everything you stress about is an unforgiven thought. Everything that makes you unhappy, an unforgiven thought. Yet that is the content underneath the form. It is the sameness which makes learning sure, because the lesson is so simple that it cannot be rejected in the end. No one can hide forever from the truth, so very obvious that it appears in countless forms, and yet is recognized as easily in all of them. If one but wants to see the simple lesson here, forgive, and you will see this differently. You will know yourself with total clarity. You'll be yourself with total knowingness. These are the words the Holy Spirit, the memory of God, speaks in all your tribulations, in all your pain, all suffering, regardless of its form. These are the words with which temptation ends and guilt is abandoned, revered no more. These are the words which end the dream of sin, that you've done something wrong, that you are guilty, and rid the mind of fear that you're going to be punished. These are the words by which salvation comes to all the world. What's salvation? The awakening to self. The recognition of our self-same essence, the essential nature of self, of our true self, and every true self, and all true selves is the self-same nature as God's self, and therefore one self is only one self. Shall we not learn to say these words when we are tempted to believe that someone's an arsehole? When pain is real? That death is an end of something? That death becomes a choice instead of life? Oh, death is inevitable. Of the body, yes. Life continues, for life is the self-same essence as God. Life is God. People like to say, oh, the world's against me. It seems like my life's against me. Your life can only be against you if you're against the idea of the life you've taken form. Because life is not against anything. Life just flows. But instead of flowing as it's meant to, you wanted to create a grandiosity of biblical distortions in your fantastical dream of nothingness. And yet the energy wants to put you back into the flow, but you resist because you're ambitious. You have drive. You have tenacity. You never give up. You never give up on your dreams. And so you stay asleep in a dream. You're meant to be. You're meant to flow. You're not meant to be famous and blah, 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 and all the things you've imagined that will make you lovable, more acceptable to yourself and others. Because what does it matter if you're acceptable to others if you never accept yourself? And there's not a single person on this planet that loves themselves unconditionally, unless they are those that do not think about this stuff at all, because they're still. Shall we not learn to be still? You're checking the sound now. Did something just happen? How come he's gone quiet? Can you not handle a couple of seconds of quiet? Shall we not learn to say these words? I forgive and thus choose to see anew. Shall we not learn to say these words when we have understood their power to release all minds from the bondage, all my fractured minds? These are the words which give you power over all events that seem to have been given power over you. You see them rightly when you hold these words in full awareness, for you are awareness itself. And do not forget these words apply to everything you see or any brother that you look upon. No one's out to get you. Your belief that everybody's out to get you is why it appears they're out to get you. And even when they're minding their own business, they'll appear to you like they're out to get you. Take it from someone who thought the world was out to get it. And so the world was. That's how he programmed this life from day dot. And couldn't understand why, as an innocent child, the world kept attacking him. Because he needed to learn. He's only attacking himself every time he incarnates into form. Every time he incarnates in order to come and fix something and be seen as the hero of his dream, he creates an attack. Because if there's a hero, there's a villain. And the very fact that you wanted to be a hero of the dream meant that you created the world into a villain. No more need to incarnate. No more need to take form. Return to the Christ mind. How can you tell when you are seeing wrong? Or someone else is failing to perceive the lesson they should learn? Well, if you're seeing someone else, you're already wrong. But how do you know it's you? When pain seems real, pain, thoughts, ideas, physicality in the perception. If it does, be sure the lesson is not learned. And there remains an unforgiveness hiding in the mind that sees the pain through the eyes the mind directs. I'm aware of this. I have sciatica pain. If I have a pain in the ass, something's a pain in my ass, investigate. Investigate. It's because I see it as a pain in the ass. I have a pain in my ass. I see them as I haven't forgiven them. Difficult to forgive a pain in the ass, even if it becomes a pain in the ass. Until the pain in the ass becomes so overwhelming, you want to forgive so the pain goes away. That's how God teaches us. Sometimes it hurts in order for you to be free. But God would not have you suffer thus. He would help you forgive yourself and your dreams. His son does not remember who he is. You cannot remember what you are. And God would have you not forget his love and all the gifts his love brings with it. His love is his essence. His essence is the liberation of your essence. Would you now renounce your own salvation? Would you fail to learn the simple lesson heaven's teacher sent before you? That all pain may disappear, all suffering may dissolve, and God may be remembered by you, his holy son, who dreams a dream that never happened in true reality. All things God would have are lessons that God would have you learn. He would not leave an unforgiven thought without correction. So if you're still alive, wondering why you're still alive, is there still work to do? On yourself only, nothing to fix out there, nor one thorn or nail to hurt you, holy son, in any way. He wants you to remember yourself purely, holy, innocently as the extension essence of God. He would ensure his holy rest remain untroubled and serene, without a care, in an eternal home which cares for you. You are his holy son. Every parent wants the only joy and happiness and peace for their children. That's what parents in this world want for their children. Imagine what you would want for your children. Now imagine what God would want, 1 billion times more peace, happiness, and joy for you. And he'll ensure your holy rest remains untroubled, even if it means that you have an illusionary nightmare, a kick up the Uranus every now and then in order to awaken to the self you are. And he would have all your tears wiped away. In other words, he's going to remove all this memory of suffering from you, with none remaining yet unshed, and none but waiting their appointed time to fall. You won't have a single memory of suffering when you awaken to self. And therefore you will have no fear of the future, because you can only have a fear of the future when there's a memory of the past that could or should or possibly would repeat itself. And that's where fear comes from, the unforgiven thoughts. For God has willed that laughter should replace each fear you have, each unforgiven thought you have, and that you will be free to be yourself knowingly as the extension of God again. We will attempt today to overcome 1,000 seeming obstacles to peace in just one day. Let mercy come to you more quickly. Offer it so that you may know you have it. Mercy, forgiveness. Do not try and hold it off another day, another minute, or another instant. The minute someone else pops up in your head and they cause you irritation, forgive, 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 forgive. Use the Ho'oponopono. Ultimately, you'll have to realize, what have I learned from this? What were they showing me? They were showing me that the unforgiveness was in me, and therefore they had to act out in a certain way so that I could think that I needed to forgive them. There's no them. It's all me. There's no one to forgive. If someone's misbehaved, there's something inside your thoughts misbehaving. It's very hard to admit, especially someone who thought the world was out to get him and they were the hero. And now you've got to realize, no. That out to get them was your own ideas of self. And once you've forgiven that, there would be no they out to attack them. It was one of the most difficult things for me to learn. It took me, 17 lifetimes. $170 lifetimes. Do not try and hold off another day, another minute, another instant. Time was made for forgiveness. Use it today for its purpose, for its intended purpose. Forgive, forgive, forgive. There's nothing more to forgive, because the realization I am, if I hadn't gone through all that shit, if I didn't need those things to forgive, I wouldn't have come to the realization I am. Morning and night, devote what time you can to serve its proper aim. And do not let the time be less than meets your deepest needs. If you're seriously fucked up, you need serious time. No, you don't have time. Allocate time. Allocate time to what's important. Give all you can and give a little more. For now we would arise in haste and go unto our Father's house. We have been gone too long, and we would linger here no more. As we practice, let's think about the things we saved to settle by ourselves and kept apart from healing. We forgot to hand it over to God. Let us give it to God. Let us give it to our Holy Spirit, the memory of God, who cleanses the filter, who knows the way to look upon them. Cleanses the filter so the light shines through, so that they will disappear as illusions and we be ourselves knowingly. Truth is within us. Truth is the memory within us. Holy Spirit's the memory of God. Truth is his message. Truth is his teaching. His are the lessons God would have us learn. Be thyself knowingly. Be the love of God knowingly. Each hour, spend a little time today and in the days to come in practicing the lesson in forgiveness in the form established for the day, and try to give it application to the happenings the hour brought. Excuse me. So that then the next one is free of the one before. Because if you haven't freed your unforgiven thoughts, you're just projecting them into your next future activities. The chains of time are easily unloosened in this way. Let not 1 hour cast before its shadow on the one that follows. So forgive so that the next one is clean. Whatever you're thinking now, whatever you're resisting now, is creating your next activity. Whatever you're in gratitude for now, whatever you're in peace for now, you're creating the next moment of gratitude, more to be grateful for, more to be peaceful for. Thus will you remain unbound in peace eternal, in a world of time, which will dissolve into timelessness of the self. This is the lesson God would have you learn. There is a way to look on everything that lets it be to you another step to him, echo of the memory of God, and to salvation of the world, disappearance of the world, the knowing of ourselves. To all that speaks of terror, answer thus: I will forgive, and this will disappear. I will forgive, and this too shall pass. To every apprehension, every care, every form of suffering, repeat these self-same words. And then you hold the key that opens up heaven's gate, the memory of God in you, and brings the love of God in you, the love of God, the Father in you as that which is, down to awareness while you abide on this earth, to raise up heaven in your awareness, because you've never left. It's like now you're awakening from a night dream. You're aware in your bed, it's nice and cozy. The nightmares have gone. You're now feeling nice and cozy in your bed. You're awakening, but it's a pleasant awakening as opposed to a frightened, nightmarish awakening, which is what you've been doing. Either you're awake or you're awakening. There's no in between. Even the most asleep rock in this universe is awakening unto self. Well, not the rock, any sentient being. So even the lowest of the lowest darknesses in human form is in the process of awakening. Don't get into that secular religious cult bullshit that thinks only a special bunch of us are going to, in the appearance of time, yeah, maybe in your lifetime, they won't awaken into self. But while you think there's a them, trust me, you won't awaken to self either. When you can look on the entire world and see it forgiven, when you can look entire world with not a single judgment of it. I'm not there yet. I still look at ice cream and go, hell yeah. Life is a highway. I want to race it all day long. Hell yeah. There's still some things, but they're no longer attachments. And take it from someone that people admired for being driven, ambitious, tenacity, never give up. All I did was create endless hell and suffering for myself. And amazingly, I still have everything I've ever wanted. Except that I don't want any. I couldn't give a damn about any of it anymore. But all the luxuries and all the opens and the closes, they're still here. Nothing's got away. My life's just effortless. No more striving. No more struggling. Strive, struggle. No more intention. No more tension. Just, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? To whom would you have me serve? What would you have me say? Do not deny the little steps he asks of us to take to him. Center, be still, be knowing, be grateful, be silent when thoughts come. No thanks. Investigate to whom do they appear. Investigate where they come from. They don't come from anywhere. To whom do they appear? That which isn't real. What are they showing me? That which isn't real. That which is. Abide, gratitude, silence, stillness. Extend joy. Extend peace. Extend self. Show up. Be present. Be vigilant. Be kind. Be compassionate. Don't get trapped by empathy. Don't drown with the drowners. Rise above the battlefield. Put your hand out. Pull them up out of the sinking sand. But be present as thyself, as the Holy Son of God. In form. Be the light. Be you that knowingly. Stop there. Do some questions.